Be honest with yourself and be honest with me right now. Have you ever had this thought, I can change them? I know I have. And guess what? You can't change anyone. The only time a person will ever want to change themselves is when they want to change themselves. You do not have the power. I'm being honest. You do not have the power to change another human being. But this is something that I have been caught in, and you might be caught in it too, or maybe you've been caught in it in the past, is this belief that if you gave someone enough time, attention, affection, if you like almost trained or manipulated this person, like it doesn't have to have a malicious intent. You could literally have the best intentions in mind, whether you're trying to help or change this romantic partner, a friend, a family member. You want so desperately for this person to be like a better person for themselves, for you in their lives, because you have this idea of potential of what they could be and you want to help them get there. You want to guide them there. Well, guess what? No one is going to become the idealized version that you created in your mind. Not possible. Like, it's literally not possible. It's never going to happen. And I need to give you the honest truth today because this is something that I definitely have caught myself in, is the lie that is, I can change them. Well, no, you can't. It's the truth. That's really it. Like, if there's one lesson you're going to learn from the episode today, is that you cannot change anyone. Do want to just touch my throat. Not my throat. My voice is a little sick today because I have a stuffy nose, but I still wanted to record this episode because I like woke up today just feeling so passionate about this topic, and I was like, if I don't get this out right now, I will not have the same passion at a later date. I will not do it as well as I just did. And I think I literally had a spit bubble. I don't look cute when I'm sick. Does anyone? I don't really know. Just had to interrupt myself and tell you that really quick because my mind told me to. Let's talk about the mindset that goes along with this wanting of I can change a person. When you have a person in your life, and I'm like, realistically today, I'm going to be talking about someone that you're romantically involved with, whether or not it's a relationship, casually dating, situationship, whatever it is. We can really get like this mentality stuck in our head of just like, yeah, like I really like this person and I want to be dating them, romantically involved with them, and I think they're cool, but I don't like XYZ, ABCDEFG about them. You get the point. You should not be going into a relationship or situationship, dating anything romantically involved if you are waiting for the potential of someone. You just like, you genuinely, like, you shouldn't. And when it comes to this mentality, this desire to fix people, usually it happens because you have the best intentions in mind. So let's take things inwards. Let's look at the desire to fix people. Because chances are you probably have the best intentions of this individual in mind. You probably see the potential in them, hoping that they're going to, quote, come around, or just believing that they need a nudge in the right direction. Like, you see something in them that they might not see in themselves. And that is a beautiful thing. That is not something that you should be ashamed of having about this person. However, that's not fair of you to do because you put yourself in this position of the love savior complex. If you are not familiar with the savior complex, this basically means that you try to fix people, you try to be there for people, you come in, you swoop in, and you save the day because it gives you purpose. This is something that I personally have fallen into. I am a person where the savior complex comes very naturally to me, and it's not necessarily a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. And when you have this love savior complex, you might be swooping into these relationships, trying to pick up these people and propel them into a better version of themselves. You probably have the best intentions in mind, just as I said. However, this is potentially extremely harmful to yourself as well as this other person. This love savior complex, unfortunately, can translate into codependency or control. And neither of those things are good in a relationship. Codependency is a scary word. However, it doesn't have to be as scary as it sounds, because codependency is just kind of a misalignment that we can have in ourselves. And trust me, I have had to come to terms with codependency in my life and in myself, because I am someone where, unfortunately, I have a very easy tendency to become codependent with other people. Why? Because I love them so much, and because it's really easy for me to lose myself in another person. Sometimes when we can get into these love savior complex relationships that lean more towards the side of codependent rather than like trying to actually genuinely control another person's life, which we could try to control another person's life if they are genuinely like not treating themselves well, and we like try to give them all the tools and the things that they can do to fix themselves, but we're really rigid in how we approach things, such as if you get into a relationship with someone who does have an addiction problem or a serious mental health issue, you might try to overpower their issues. When it comes to codependency, I have a tendency for this. So I am speaking from first-hand experience. You can lose yourself so easily within another person where their purpose becomes your purpose because you love them so much. You want their life to be good and settled and okay before you allow yourself to build your life up, before you allow your life to be okay, before you allow yourself to have the strength that you are trying to give this person. It sucks. Like, it is something where it does give you so much purpose, having this codependent relationship with another person where you are just trying to help them and you're trying to be there for them, and they're like needing you because they need that guidance, they need whatever, but like they might not love it, they might resent it, it might be hard for them, or they might need it and they might love it. I don't know what it's like, but codependency is so tricky and so attached to this I can fix them mentality. And at the end of the day, you have to sit there and realize why you actually want to change this person, and if you are someone who has these tendencies. I'm kind of trying to lay the foundation out for you right now. You need to realize these things. Like, this is something where I need to be blunt with you about how these things work and the nature of the I can change them mentality, because you can't. The only person that you can change is yourself, and that is kind of the point of today's episode, is how you need to take a step back from these mindsets, these wanting to change people mindsets, wanting to swoop in, save the day, save the person, whatever it is. You need to ask yourself, why am I wanting to do that? And why am I not seeing the person in front of me for who they are? Because this is something that I've said previously on my podcast. Sometimes when we see the potential in who other people are or what they could be, or the potential of a relationship that we create in our minds, it's because deep down we have this quiet longing and desire for someone to see the potential in us as well. And it's a harsh reality to face, because when I have been in my most codependent, when I have been in my most I can change them mindset, that was also when I was coming from a place of such low self-worth and self-esteem and low confidence that I felt as though if I helped someone else, if I did these things to help another person, it would help myself and I would be able to have the life that I wanted, instead of just pointing the energy inwards towards myself. That was what I once did. And when I realized I actually can't change other people, no matter who they are in my life, romantic, friends, family, whatever, you cannot change another person. And that is like a huge thing of today. The only person that you can change is yourself. When I had that realization of wow, I actually don't think I'm going about this right. I'm not choosing the right partners. I'm not allowing myself to have healthy relationships with people romantically. And even in the other aspects of my life, I kind of had this savior, I can change them mentality. And it's something that I really used as a crutch. But the moment that I realized that crutch was there and that I was doing things in a not healthy way, that was the moment that genuinely changed my life. And now I am the person in front of the camera today where I can say, you can't change anyone other than yourself. And the best person that you can put your energy towards is yourself. You need to do it. When we focus so much on trying to fix this other person, trying to change them, whatever, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment and unrealistic expectations. This is dangerous, not only for ourselves, but for the other people in our lives. We will put ourselves through these cycles over and over and over again, maybe with different people, maybe with the same people, but it is going to hurt every single time it happens. And you're going to be wondering, why? Why does it hurt? Why does this keep happening? And not even realize that you're putting yourself through this cycle. It's tough. I'm giving you tough love today, and you need to hear this. Like, you need to hear this because we can't expect anyone to change for us in the way that we want them to. It's really that's a lot of pressure to put on another human being as well as ourselves. Because if we aren't able to get this person to change, then we think that there is something wrong with us because we're seeing what is wrong in this other person and we're wanting them to fix it and change it for us. You could have the best intentions in mind, but at the end of the day, this is not a healthy thing to do. It's really only going to hurt you and the people in your life if you keep continuing this pattern. I've already kind of touched on the cycle of what this can cause and rise within us and this other person, but I really want to break things down of what can actually happen when we try to change people. Let's say you are out, you meet a person, you go on a date with them, and you start noticing these red flags within them. And you consciously choose to ignore them because you think that they are something that this person can genuinely change about themselves. You will stick around in order to find out if this is something that they can change, if this is something that you can change about the person that you are with. When we are going through this part of the cycle, we can often ignore the incompatibilities that we might have with this other person. This can literally be anything from emotional incompatibilities, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, just even values or what this person does on the day to day. We see that this person is one way and we want to try and see if they will shift and morph to fit with us. It's not good. Like, it will never happen. Because the thing is, that is true about romantic relationships is that over time, you guys do start to become similar to one another. And that's something that we all know. The more time that you spend with a person, the more you guys are sort of going to meet and mesh and become very similar to one another, and this is not healthy for you to do. The more incompatibilities that you sort of put to the side and sort of wave off, the more likely you are setting yourself up for disappointment and resentment later down the line. When we are trying to change someone, when we are trying to fix someone, when we are waiting for this person to become the person that we thought they could be, that we imagine them as being, we can experience so much resentment. Why? Because we feel resentful at them for not trying to change and become the person that we wanted them to be. We might be vocalizing the ways that we want them to change. We might be keeping it inwards, but over time, this resentment will build and build and build and might even end up in you trying to control this person's life and their choices and who they are. You might actually really not like this person at the end of the day and realize it way later down the line when you could have just seen those incompatibilities at the beginning of the relationship, those red flags, if you didn't ignore them, if you didn't try to look past them. Because there's a difference between yellow flags and red flags, and I could get into that in another video. But yellow flags, sometimes they do mean that we should dig a little deeper. Whereas red flags, like actual true incompatibilities that show you that a person is not ready for a relationship or not compatible to be in a relationship with you, you need to take those things as truth the first time that you see them. Yellow flags is a conversation for another day. Over time, you see these incompatibilities, these red flags, and you move more in the relationship. You start to resent them. You start to want to try to control them. You start wanting them to change. And there's this emotional toll that is taken upon you and this other person because you both have resentment towards each other about, just them not changing, and they're mad at you for wanting them to change or whatever. Maybe you are in a situationship and you are giving so much time and attention to this person, hoping that they'll change and like break down their emotional walls because you want a relationship with them so bad. You can see you created like this relationship in your mind with them that's not based on any actual actions that they've made or things that they've said, but you've sort of put yourself in the situationship for so long that you've created this fantasy in your mind of what could be, but you're not actually seeing what is in front of you in this relationship. And this leads to such a massive emotional exhaustion. Either way, situationship, relationship, you will eventually end up in burnout. It's just how it goes. Because when there is an unspoken or spoken about expectation for someone to become someone who they are not, that takes a toll on both people. This expectation that we can place upon another person is not fair. If they wanted to be the person that you're wanting them to be, they would become that person. They would change. However, that is not going to happen 99% of the time. That's not going to happen. Like, people will only change when they are ready to change. And if you are not able to change this mindset, how can you be able to, like, how can you expect them to change theirs if you aren't willing to change yours as well? Like, you really have to think both ways here. At love's truest form, love is acceptance. It is when you see your partner, you see the person that you are romantically involved with, you see their flaws in what makes them human, and you say, I might not like them, but I love that person. And you don't want them to change. You don't care if they change. If you have an expectation of something that you would like for them to be, you don't need them to change to be that way. You are able to accept them as the person who is in front of you. You need to support your partner's growth rather than trying to force it. If you are in a romantic relationship, and if you're in a situationship, my golly gee, you cannot expect anyone to change for you, because if they aren't willing to commit themselves to you, why would they change? Like, why would a situationship try to change who they are if they aren't even willing to tell you how they actually feel about you, or if they are not willing to actually commit themselves to you? How can you expect someone to want to commit themselves to wanting to change and bend into the person that you want them to be? Never gonna happen. It's not. It's genuinely not. And you can see a person and see how flawed they are and want the best for this person, and genuinely, like, you see them and you want to love them so badly because you can see that they are broken. But it is not your job to fix another person. The only person that has the power to fix themselves is themselves. You can't help anyone other than yourself. And that is a lesson that I have had to learn in my life, is genuinely, at the end of the day, the only person that I have total control over helping genuinely and like trying to do the best things for them is myself. And that is something that you need to come to terms with at the end of the day. If you are really wanting to change something about your relationship, about your life, you need to realize that you can only change you. You need to change your expectations on what you can control. you might need to reevaluate your boundaries, your needs, and your perspectives when it comes to this relationship or when it comes to romantic relationships in general. Because if you see that you want to sort of be like a knight in shining armor or princess in shining armor, whoever you are, I don't really care. But if you want to swoop in and save someone else's day, chances are you probably need to look inwards and fix your day. Save your own day, save your own life, because that is a harsh reality that I had to learn in my life, is that when I was in the thick of this mentality of wanting to change someone, wanting to change a situation that I was in that honestly I didn't really have any control over, I realized that I just needed to save myself. This knight in shining armor that I was really looking for, that I really wanted, was myself. And that he was just a boy, and that I just needed to smile more. And I realized only I could save my day. I can't save anyone else's day. I can't save anyone else's life. I can only do that for myself. When you do find a healthy relationship, when you do have true love, you realize that growth is something that you do together. It is not just for one person or another person. You help each other grow together, you support one another, and when you face a challenge, you do it together. Personal growth in a healthy relationship is a two-way street. There is no pressure to change, but rather growth is founded upon mutual respect and mutual desire. At the end of the day, I know in your heart that what you want is a healthy relationship and that you want to build it from scratch with someone. But you can't be looking at the person in front of you and trying to make them into your perfect Prince Charming or perfect princess, whoever they are. You need to see them for who they are actually. You can't go and choose a partner based on how you want to fix them and mold them and shape them into your perfect partner. That's not fair. That puts you guys at a different power dynamic. What actually happens in a healthy relationship when you build it from scratch is that it all starts out with honest and open communication. Open communication means that from the get-go with this person, after an appropriate amount of dates, you guys open the dialogue of sharing your needs, wants, and desires in a relationship with one another. When it comes to fostering an environment in the relationship where there can be open communication, you need to do it early on. And if you are in a relationship and you're kind of backtracking right now, what you need to do is try to create a safe space in the relationship. This happens when you put it all out on the line. If you are in a relationship right now and you know that you are consciously trying to change this person, you need to go to them and say, I don't think I've been approaching this relationship correctly. I think that I have been wanting to change you, and for that, I am sorry. I have had these certain expectations that I've placed upon you, but in reality, I've placed these expectations upon myself for trying to make you into a person that you are not. I am coming from a place, a good intended place, a good hearted, loving place, but unfortunately, it's just not like it's not happening. I'm not able to execute what I want to do because I see the ways that you struggle. I see the ways that you're hurt and I'm struggling, but you need to create like, I don't know if that's, you know what? I don't know if that's the best thing, but that's something that I would do. I would literally, after this video, just put it all out on the line and literally tell this person all of the things that I've told you today. Maybe even sit down and, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe don't sit down and watch this video with them, but really think about your expectations that you have for yourself, that you have for this other person, and share it with this other person how this is not a healthy way of going about this relationship. Anyways, if you are single and you're watching this video and you're trying to think about your next relationship and dating and what it can look like, if you want to start a healthy relationship, It is all about how you communicate with this person in the first couple of dates, in that first month of getting to know them. You should know by day 30 of knowing this person what their values are, what their wants in life and a relationship are, as well as their expectations for life and a relationship. You should be able to know all of those things if you guys are seriously dating one another early on. So like by seriously dating, I mean like seeing each other at least once or twice a week. You guys should be having these types of conversations, maybe not in the first week of knowing each other or two, but you should know them by day 30. You should have a clear understanding. It should not be after that long. And that's my personal opinion. I believe in the value of just putting it all out on the table appropriately. Maybe not on the first date or date 2 or date 3, but just sharing with this person about how you have this life and vision for yourself of, oh, I want to have 3 kids and I want to have a house with land and I want to have, a good job and all of these things for myself. What do you want? And if it doesn't align with that, or you can't be flexible with that person, do you really want to try and change them to fit into the life that you genuinely want for yourself? You have to consider these things. You have to create a foundation of open communication and just like genuinely understanding this person. And if this person does not want to be understood, then don't go trying to pull it out of them or try to understand them or try to encode their cryptic messages. You're not a treasure hunter. Like, you're not a treasure hunter. There is no treasure to be found if they do not want to share these things with you. The true treasure when it comes to love and a healthy relationship is that from the get-go, from the start, you have open communication. And this is something that I have with my boyfriend, where I think in date 1, for me in my life, I've never had anything like this before, where he told me what his values are and that he was going on this date with me, that I was the only person that he was putting his energy towards, because he's not going around and playing the field. He told me what he wanted in life and that he wanted to buy a house and that he wanted to have land and the things that he enjoyed. I knew who he was by the end of the first date. And for me, it was like a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh my God, this person only dates one person at a time. He's genuinely interested in me. He was asking me questions about myself. He was trying to understand who I am and what I like and what I want for myself in life. Wow, how refreshing. That's how it should be. And, like open communication. It's just like, it should be like that for you. You shouldn't have to try and encode anyone's cryptic messaging. No one has the mental capacity to try and figure someone out that doesn't want to be known, that doesn't want to be heard, that doesn't want to be loved. You don't have to do that. The next thing that comes with fixing this I can change them mentality is that you need to have healthy boundaries. This goes along with that codependency piece that I talked about way earlier in the episode. I am someone where in the past I struggled a lot with boundaries. I genuinely, I didn't know where the lines between me and another person blurred when it came to emotional needs. I wanted to fix everyone else's emotions and I was never able to, and I couldn't even fix myself, and it was tough. Tough. However, when I took a look inside and I realized that I wasn't doing boundaries right, that I wasn't protecting my energy, that I wasn't protecting my emotions, and that I was actually doing more damage than I was doing good, I was then able to create healthy boundaries in my life, within myself and within my relationships. And I thought that creating healthy boundaries and creating boundaries with people meant that I was ruining whatever relationships I had with these people, that I would lose the love that I had with these people, or they would lose their love with me. But that's just not the case, because now that I have healthy boundaries, I have even more love to give because I am able to prioritize myself first. And for that, I am so grateful that I put in the time and energy and work to do that. Because sometimes you can feel like drawing a line in the sand between you and another person is like you're building a 40-foot high wall. But that's not the case. You're just drawing a line in the sand of where you are and where this other person's are, other people are, and how you can't cross that line. You're not building a wall that it completely separates you from the people in your life. You're just protecting yourself. Because boundaries, when you do it right, can allow both partners to flourish and blossom and bloom independently as well as cohesively together in the relationship. And it is so beautiful. Like, I didn't even know that my life could be this way before I learned the value of boundaries. All in all, when it comes to this fix it mentality, when it comes to the I can change them mentality, it's all about claiming your power back and seeing that the only person that you can control in your life is yourself and your mind and your heart and your energy. You cannot go out into the world and try to fix everyone, try to change everyone. You have to let go of that savior complex because it is keeping you from becoming the fullest version of yourself. It is keeping you from having that true, authentic love. When you let go of this desire for people to change and to fix people and to come in and swoop in and save the day, you will have so much energy for yourself and so much more love to give. You need to release the idea of saving your partner, and I'm using air quotes on saving, and focus instead on growing together in a healthy way. You need to see the person that is in front of you. You need to see the situation that is in front of you. You cannot be stuck in your imagination when it comes to real life. I know I touched on a lot. I know that I had a lot of energy today and a lot of passion, but this is just something that I personally have had to come to terms with in my own life and really fix and evaluate within myself, because it can be so easy to fall into this mindset of I can change them. And I do think that this happens a lot more often with women than men, although it's not impossible for men to go through this because they definitely can. At the end of the day, throughout the end of this video, like, you need to realize that the only person that you can save is yourself, and you don't need to sacrifice yourself. You don't need to sacrifice other people. You need to see people and yourself and your life as it actually is. Deep down, you are probably a person that can see the potential in people. Deep down, you're probably an optimist. You're probably a hopeless romantic. You're probably someone who loves and loves and loves and just wants to be loved and has a lot of love within you. And I'm saying this from personal experience because that is how I am. That is how the people in my life who I have seen go through this I can change them mentality are. They are the nicest and kindest people that I know. And myself included. Not to say that, like, not to toot my own horn, but like, I genuinely believe that when you go through this, you have the best intentions in mind for this other person and yourself. However, it's not always executed correctly. It's not always executed, in the best way. Like, it's just, it's something that you really need to realize is something that you cannot do. You cannot change anyone other than yourself. And that is the message of today. Well, that's kind of all I have today. I know I came at this with a lot of energy and a lot of passion today, and you could probably tell that I had to take a lot of spoonfuls of honey throughout this episode so that my voice stayed okay and blow my nose. But I really just wanted to get this message out there while I had the gusto about it, because I love my episodes when I have the idea and I just do it and I just get it out, because I always feel better about myself when I do content in that way. So I hope you enjoyed today. I hope my sick voice wasn't too annoying. I know that I just threw a bunch of stuff at you, and you need, like, if this is something where you are this way, you need to take care of yourself for the rest of the day. Maybe that you listen to this at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, end of the day. I don't know. I don't care. Take care of yourself today. Take care of yourself tomorrow. Take care of yourself every day. Maybe journal about this. Talk to someone who you love and trust about this, whether it's a loved one, a family member, a friend, your therapist. I don't know. I don't care. Comment down below if you want someone to talk to. I'm here for you. I also have an anonymous page on my website that's going to be linked down below. If you ever have any questions that you want to be answered here on To Be Known, please go to the website, go to the questions or, communicate page. I don't know, contact page. Oh my God, like my brain is frazzled from being sick, you guys. But go to the contact page, write a question. If you want to turn it in anonymously, feel free to do that. Feel free to write your name. We could start a conversation. I want to be there for you guys. I want to make To Be Known into a community. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Take care of yourself. I'm not going to lie. Take care of yourself. And if you need anything from me, if you need anything from anyone in your life, do not hesitate to ask. You are worth people's time and energy and love. Okay. With that being said, stay true to you. Bye.